Welcome to the latest video in our series looking at growth and innovation in the financial services sector. In this episode, we're looking at how fast-moving businesses in the banking and finance sector can manage risk alongside that growth. I'm Caroline Brown. I'm a partner in our dispute resolution team with a focus on banking and finance disputes. And I'm here with James Green, a partner in our employment team, whose practice focuses on employment and regulatory issues in the financial services sector.
Thanks, Caroline. So I wanted to touch on this theme of risk and innovation in the context of the FCA's strategy for 2025 to 2030, which is all about rebalancing risk in order to spur growth. And there's this idea that smarter regulation can help actually drive growth by allowing room for businesses to innovate and to grow while at the same time managing risk. And this idea that actually regulation can be a tool for growth, but at the same time being used to help counter financial crime and protect vulnerable consumers and other positive things like that. And we've both seen, I know in our practice areas, this real change actually in the sorts of clients we're advising and helping through these issues, crowdfunders, new investment firms, fintechs, challenger banks, alongside of course more sort of traditional players, all having to deal with this sort of fast-moving environment, perhaps having to respond in different ways. So in your practice then, Caroline, what sort of themes are you seeing coming through in this idea of kind of balancing risk and growth?
I think that's an interesting question. So where we're looking at financial services businesses who are looking to move to grow and to increase their activity, they might be looking at increasing lending or more investment activity. Alongside that fantastic growth, there will inevitably be some ventures which perhaps don't succeed and some things that don't go to plan. So that might mean in practice lenders who are dealing with defaults, with customer disputes or even claims against their professional advisors. And a huge part of what we do as dispute resolution lawyers is to help clients manage the risk that comes out of those issues. And that's not just in active litigation, but it's in horizon gazing to identify whether there is anything coming down the line that they need to be aware of and they need to prepare for. So day to day we can work with clients to either head off claims entirely or to minimise the impact of any litigation if it does happen. And that means being able to spot issues if they do arise, knowing what to do if there is a dispute on the horizon, and taking some steps in business as usual practice to help minimise the risk so they can grow effectively whilst minimising the risk that might come with that.
No, of course. So Caroline, then putting on you on the spot, what do you think are the key takeaways for your clients or key issues you want to speak to them about in this space?
I think there's a few things that are often of interest to clients when we're talking to them about preparing for heading off litigation. And there's a few things that it's really helpful for them to be aware of. And those include things like limitation. So the strict period within which a claim needs to be brought. And it's really important to be aware of that, whether you're a claimant or a defendant. There's also the impact of governing law and jurisdiction clauses in your contracts and what those mean in practice. So how you can enforce things, particularly cross-border, whether it's security or whether it's a judgment. And the other thing that's often of interest to clients is the extent of disclosure, what might be disclosed if there is a dispute. And really important to be aware of that, even in business as usual, so that you can protect the position as far as possible and avoid any legally privileged advice becoming disclosed inadvertently later on in any dispute scenario. So understanding those issues will help our clients in turn to manage and develop systems and processes in their business as usual practice, which will help them to manage that risk alongside growth. And that might be something as simple as keeping a record of any key decisions made and why, making sure that there's a policy in place and making sure that your staff are aware of that policy and are following it. And all of those things where clients and organisations are looking to grow quickly will help them to manage any risk that comes alongside that really exciting period of growth. I mentioned there, James, systems and processes to manage risk. I know that's something that you work with your clients on as a focus for you. So what there would you want to speak to your clients about?
Yeah, great. So picking out some similar themes, I think, here. So governance is one which, of course, you mentioned. So that's how governance deals with existing frameworks like SMCR or consumer duty, but also actually more generally, how does it respond to change, and do you have the right systems to take decisions, to deal with challenge, and ensure that that framework is well equipped to manage a sort of fast-growing, changing organisation. There's the issue of just getting the basics right. So something simple like an employment contract, does it have appropriate protection for confidential information or protection of your key client relationships? Something time and time again we see missing. Just with everything else going on in these exciting, fast-growing businesses, actually just a simple step like that can be really powerful. And there's the culture of the organisation. So not just about a statement of values on the website, but actually how a firm behaves, how its senior people behaves, how it responds to misconduct. And that's a particular focus at the moment because the regulators just closed a consultation on non-financial misconduct. A number of firms are dealing with how to address this idea of misconduct amongst senior people, both inside and outside the workplace. And then there's the issue of change management. So how an organisation responds to change, if it's embedding an acquisition or growing very quickly, are those governance frameworks equipped to deal with that? In particular in the employment space, because the Labour government's reforms are coming down the tracks ever more quickly, the biggest reform to worker rights in a generation, and organisations that are best equipped to respond to that are going to grow most effectively, I think most sustainably over the next period, and they'll be best equipped to deal with any bumps in the road that might arise.
Okay, interesting. So some easy wins there, I think, for our clients to be thinking about when they're looking at some fast-moving growth and to manage the risk that might come alongside that. Great. Thank you for watching. Do keep an eye out for other videos in this series. And of course, if there's anything you'd like to discuss with either me or James, please do get in touch.